Hi, my name's Josh. I'm a qualified chef. I did my training in Switzerland in a French-style kitchen. Today, I'm going to be cooking the supposedly craved after, mouth-watering Asam Laksa. Now you're probably asking yourself, is this a joke? Why is an Aussie white boy telling me how to cook Asam Laksa? Well, to tell you the truth, I've never been to Malaysia or tasted the real thing. The only thing I know is that CNN posted it as one of the top 50 most delicious foods in the world, and that my friend from Malaysia, a massive food connoisseur, keeps telling me that it has to be one of her favourite dishes. When I cooked Asam Laksa for the first time, I thought to myself, you gotta be kidding me. My version was strange tasting and watery. I thought, this dish doesn't live up to its title. But not stopping there, I dove into the art and history of Asam Laksa, looked at countless recipes and remade it time and time again. And I'm here now to present you with my version, the spicy white boys Asam Laksa. Hey guys, today we're going to be cooking Asam Laksa. So if you come a bit closer, I'm going to show you what we've got. These are the ingredients for the spice paste and the broth. So taking a closer look, we've got red chilies, dried chilies, tamarind paste, asam gulgur, belacan, Vietnamese coriander, lemongrass, shallots, turmeric, and galangal. These are the garnishes and condiments. So we've got cucumber, shallots, chilies, peppermint, Vietnamese coriander, pineapple, and of course some shrimps paste for on top. Wonderful. So these are the fish. They're a kind of mackerel, and we're going to be poaching those now. Got the water simmering here, and I'm going to put those straight in there. I've got here around 20 or so dried chilies. So I'll put those in a bowl. And then over here I've got some tamarind pulp. We're going to put that in the bowl as well. Then I've got some some boiling water here, which I'm going to pour over that tamarind paste, paste, just nice and generously, and over the dried chilies, as you can see. So yeah, we've got them soaking in there in a generous amount of water. That's going to dissolve in there, get nice and so. As you can see, we've got our mackerel poaching over here, and we're going to put these Vietnamese coriander, Vietnamese mint into the broth. We've also got some Asam gulgur, I think it's called. It's a dried plum kind of thing, and it's meant to be a bit tangy, sour, so that's going to add to the tanginess of our broth. Now we're going to be preparing the spice paste, which is going to go into the broth. So I've got some shallots here. Cut them up into some smaller sizes. I've got around 5 or 6 shallots there. And I've got a bit of fresh turmeric. You can also use ground turmeric if you'd like, if you don't have any fresh turmeric. So just chop that up. Galangal, I'm sure you know what it is. It's like a cousin of ginger, so it's similar to ginger, but it's a lot harder and not as spicy. Yeah. So I'm just gonna chop it up. And toasted belacan. You can try to roast it even some more. This isn't really roasted, it's just, yeah, it's a little bit roasted. What you can do is stick it in your pan and just let it caramelize a little bit. Here I'm peeling the outer layers off the lemongrass. I'm not going to blend them since they're a bit too tough and fibrous. Put that in there with that. And what I like to do with the excess of the lemongrass is just chuck it into the broth. Get a close up of that. Then we've got all those ingredients in there stewing away. And then, as you can see, the belacan is roasting here, just adding extra flavor. So the chilies have been soaking here, rehydrating for a while. I tend to usually take most of the chili seeds out of the chilies before before I start, but I forgot to do it this time, so it's going to be extra spicy. And then, what else have we got? The belacan. So this has been toasting, nice and brown. Just chuck that in there. And then we're going to get a little bit of water into that so that it blends properly. So there's a bit of water in there. Just gonna... Alright, so the fish has been in here for about 10 minutes, a bit less. So we're going to take one out, and to check if the fish is done properly, you pull at the skin, just pull at the skin, and if it comes off nicely, then your fish is cooked. We've got our spice paste, which we made. It's nice and blended, and we're just going to pour that, about half of it going in there. We're going to keep that for another day. Just give that a stir. So we've taken the fish out of the broth now, and we're just going to let it cool down before we shred it and take the meat off the bone. I'm going to get the broth, which I cooked the fish in. We're just going to pour that through a strainer so that we're not taking any impurities. See all that? So we've also got the tamarind here, which has been diluting, and we're going to get that, which is now broken up and dissolved, sort of. We're going to pour that into the soup through a strainer. So we're going to need some salt for our broth, because the only real things that have any salt in them are the belacan, and I think that's it. Yeah, just the belacan. So we need to add a bit of extra salt. Yeah, just some generous pinches, and then take a fork and scrape the meat off the bones, because we don't want the bones in the soup. So just peel it like so. So we've got a big pot over here for our noodles. We're using thick rice vermicelli. So yeah, use the thick ones, gluten-free, vegan. Yeah, those are perfect. I actually have something which I forgot to say in the start. It's something that's essential for the soup, which is called in Malay banga kantan. In English, translated, it's ginger bud. You cook it with the broth along with the lemongrass and everything else. but it's something that I haven't been able to find in any Asian groceries. So I just finished cooking the noodles. I've drained them and strained them and cooled them down so they're not going to be sticking together. So after 30 minutes of cooking all this goodness, we're going to strain the lemongrass stalks, asam gulgur, that there, and then we're going to get a bit more than half of the fish we shredded and put it back in there. So it's cooked down a little bit, and I gotta say, I've tasted it again. Let's get my reaction in this. It's starting to taste really good. So in Malaysia, this is how they do it. You get your noodles, and the noodles are cold. They're not hot going in, but if you put cold noodles with hot broth, it's going to make the broth cold. So you get your noodles, that, pour a spoon of broth over it, 2, then you pour it back out, and then you get all the meat in there. Want to take a look? As you pour it back out, all the meat stays in, and then you go and top it up. Then we get a bit of that undang sauce, put it in there, and that's it. That, my friends, is Penang Asam Laksa. So, let's get some tasting. Elsie? So, here we are. We're about to eat the soup. Yeah, so we've got everything there except for the ginger bud. That's all right. Get a bit of everything.
Did you cook already?
Yeah.
Look, I got something great from Leah. Beautiful grapes. Look at this.
Mmm. Mmm. Mmm.
Did you give that to us?
Oh, spicy. Oh, that piece of chili is hot.
Okay, I need a little touch.
Oh, oh that's hot. Oh. Just the garnish. Whew. Oh, it's super spicy. But the flavors are there, I think. I mean, if I ever go to Penang, I will be able to compare my version with the real thing. And we'll see. Mmm. Oh. Ah, spicy. So I just finished cooking the noodles. I've drained them and strained them and cooled them down so they're not going to be sticking together. Now we're just
What are you cooking?
Asam Laksa.
Not again, Josh. Every time you cook it, it gets worse.
Are you
No
serious?
offense.
It is salt. Maybe I shouldn't mention that I'm a chef. I'm gonna get criticized.
You never know.
It's
what goes
really
on-
sour.
You never know what goes on behind the scenes.